We're back at it again with another Battlefront update. With November well underway and excitement still ripe for the next major game update, we've this week received our first official word from DICE on what to expect for this month, or more like so for next month. Well, kind of. I'll explain more soon, as some may consider this news a letdown, while others will be perfectly fine with it. Honestly, depends where you fall in with Jedi Fallen Order releasing in November, and whether you want to spend more time in that game or Battlefront 2. In addition to this, we also have some news regarding the reinforcements that we were supposed to get in November, as will Clone Wars content making a return in 2020 and more. And before we get into any of that, a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like and show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Starting things off, we'll take a quick look at the community calendar for November, for all the different in-game events that will be taking place. The first event is a fast spawn event for Blast and Strike mode. Spawn timers will be set to 1 second for the duration of this event within Blast and Strike modes, which is good to see these small modes getting some attention again from DICE. This event will last from November 8th to the 11th. From November 15th to the 18th, we'll be seeing a double XP event across all the modes. This is to celebrate EA's other game, Jedi Fallen Order, for releasing on the 15th. No other specifics about this really, other than it's just gonna be giving more XP. From November 22nd to the 25th, we'll be seeing a fast spawn event for Hero Starfighter and Starfighter Assault. Like with the infantry event, this will see a 1 second spawn timer for both modes, along with there being triple XP for these modes during the weekend. Lastly, November 29th to December 2nd will be everyone's favorite Battle Point event, Boots on the Ground with Vehicles. It'll be making its return for that weekend, with players only being able to use infantry, reinforcements, and vehicles in games. So sorry, but no heroes on the Battlefront whatsoever. Next, earlier this week we learned of DICE's plans, or therefore lack of plans, where the November game update is concerned. Ben Walk first broke the news over his Twitter, saying that the November update will now be arriving at the first week of December. A second update in December will follow, no cut content, just dates moving, and December will be a celebration month for DICE, headlined by Rise of Skywalker content. Following this tweet, he went ahead and made a more formal note explaining what exactly was going on and why, writing, "Hey everyone, we wanted to give you a heads up on our plans as we move through the last 2 months of the 2019. By now, we are all used to our monthly cadence of releases, however, we're going to be shaking things up a little. What this means is that we're going to reposition the update that was scheduled for release at the end of November into the first week of December. This will then be followed up by an update later in December that includes our content from Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. We cannot go into the reason for this move just yet, but we're excited to be sharing the news a little closer to the time. To ease any concerns you may have, we also want to clarify that this does not impact the content we are releasing, as it remains the same as planned. An exciting 2 content updates are coming, we can't wait." So that pretty much tells us that no, we're not going to be getting the November update in November anymore. Rather, it's being delayed to December. Fortunately, it's only a week-long delay, as we'll already be getting it sometime during the first week of December. On the plus side, while November will be barren game content-wise, this means that December will be absolutely packed with new content thanks to 2 game updates, which to my knowledge has never happened before in DICE's Battlefront history. The November update, which yes, I know while it won't be releasing in November anymore, it still technically is the November update, so that will be containing what we believe to be some much more needed original trilogy content. While the December update will release at the end of the month, which will of course feature all the Rise of Skywalker content for the sequel trilogy. As for why the November update is getting delayed to December, DICE have been reluctant to give specifics on the reason behind that decision. According to Ben, he affirmed players to confirm this isn't about bugs or fixes. The reason will be apparent at the time, but it's not something they can talk about just yet. Is good news though. So what we can get from that is that whatever the reason the move is happening, it's being done with good intentions in mind, for which will be revealed in December. The most popular theory right now is EA are doing this in order to prevent Battlefront 2 from taking away any attention from their newest game, Jedi Fallen Order, which is releasing in, you guessed it, November. Naturally, EA want high sales for that game, and the last thing they want is a lot of people being preoccupied of Battlefront thanks to the November update. Of course, if EA never had an exclusive Star Wars deal like it currently has, and a whole bunch of other studios were making Star Wars games, then this would have never happened. But because EA is the only one making Star Wars games and doesn't want their own games competing for one another for attention in November, then this move does make sense from a business point of view. But again, keep in mind that this is only a theory at this time and we'll be finding out the real answer in December. Apparently it's good news, so we shouldn't have to worry about it. Speaking about delays, but even when we do reach December, we shouldn't be expecting much to any community transmissions during that month, or at least not until the last few weeks or so, because according to Ben, they'll have to be put on hold due to them containing spoilers for Episode 9. So essentially, it's sounding like we're going to be kept largely in the dark for what DICE's Rise of Skywalker DLC will exactly contain. All we know for sure is that it will give us new hero skins, new reinforcements, and skins for those, along with a new map. Seeing as Rise of Skywalker releases on December 20th here in North America, I'd imagine we could be seeing our first community transmission on new content a few days after that. Once, of course, by that time, a lot of people would have seen the movie. Then they'll likely release the actual December update on the 26th or 27th, Tuesday or Wednesday, which are the usual days that DICE do drop game updates on. Now to jump back to the November update, but I think it's very important to address the recent drama, controversy, whatever you want to call it, regarding the new reinforcements. Because as we all know, at least according to the roadmap, the big community transmission we had in Ben's comments, that we were going to be getting new reinforcements within the November update. However, plot twist, it looks like that plan has been altered and not for the better. This week, when asked about the November update's new reinforcements, Ben seemed to have changed his tune and played it dumb, asking the community, where did the reinforcements in November come from? Our roadmap has always said within October, November, December reinforcements are coming in December. We can't talk about them yet for reasons. And yeah, suffice to say, this comment straight up angered a lot of people in the community, and rightfully so. Seeing as Ben got amnesia and seems to have forgotten the roadmap and community transmissions, he himself wrote up stating that we would be getting new reinforcements in November. Let's take a quick look at the roadmap first, as we can see it there. From between October to December, it clearly says new reinforcements, reinforcement appearances, special event, and new appearances, implying that we will be getting all of that between October to December, aka November. So far, we've only got the special event in October, which is the Yavin Ceremony Luke skin event, and rightfully illustrates that of Yavin 4 on the roadmap. We got that event in late October, and as we can see on the roadmap, right after that is when we were due to get new reinforcements and appearances in November. Of course, none of that is counting Rise of Skywalker content, as that is its own December section and separate on the roadmap, with everything above it being content before December. So to summarize, the roadmap specifically mentions new reinforcements as a separate point to Rise of Skywalker update, especially seeing as it doesn't even mention the new planet as a separate indicator either, which gives us even more proof that reinforcements before December and during December are very much a separate thing. Next, let's hop on to the community transmission DICE released a few months back, which read, as we move through the remainder of the year, we will have new reinforcements, appearances, and a brand new front menu system, which allows you to play the era of your choosing. This of course implies October and November, because only after that does it mention, we will also be working toward the release of content inspired by Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. While we don't want to go into the exact specifics, no spoilers, we can confirm that we will be building a new planet and some reinforcements based on the conclusion to the galaxy-spanning Skywalker saga. Now, this really makes it seem like two separate sets of reinforcements, And since we're used to one content drop per month and monthly updates being focused on that, this made it seem like we'd get reinforcements both this month and next month. Otherwise, they would have stated that new reinforcements would only be coming in the Rise of Skywalker update, and mention it only there and not before talking about December content, rather than say we're getting new reinforcements later this year and new reinforcements will also be included in the Rise of Skywalker update. I mean, why keep mentioning new reinforcements twice as separate things if you apparently never meant that? Either they're taking us for a bunch of chumps or had a grade schooler as the editor for that transmission. You be the judge. Lastly, back in early October when asked about new reinforcements, Ben stated that we would be getting them in October and then December. Obviously, we know that didn't turn out to be the case and they were instead delayed to November, or at least that was the assumption at the time. However, now it looks like DICE has either scrapped them indefinitely or moved them for the January update. Either way, there's more than enough proof that we were supposed to get new reinforcements in either October or November, and then again in December. Now, hear me out. I think the most plausible answer here is that DICE very much intended on new reinforcements for November, but then something came up and they realized, oh dang, we can't do this anymore. And now they're trying to cover it all up in order to save face and not get any major backlash from that. What's also pretty sketchy is that DICE had new reinforcements listed for November on their roadmap page literally on their website. But the website recently went through a makeover and all of that has now been suspiciously removed. So unfortunately, we can't even see it anymore to use that as another piece of evidence against them. Now, it should be pointed out that this isn't the first time Ben has pretended to not know something in order to protect DICE's interests. As let's not forget the whole famous Droideka debacle where DICE royally screwed up and inserted a Droideka by mistake in an official game screenshot. Everyone in the world, including their grandmas, saw a Droideka and pointed it out, while Ben looked at it and said, "Droideka? I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't see anything there. All I see is a crashed speeder and environmental clutter. Now, move along, nothing to see here, folks." Now, of course, once the Droideka was finally released, Ben was then able to open up to us and admit how hard it was to lie that he was blind and didn't see the very obvious Droideka in the image. And that was because his job at the time by the higher-ups was to cover it up and keep it on the down low as much as possible. So now, based off everything before telling us that new reinforcements were coming in November, and now suddenly out of nowhere they're not and Ben doesn't remember any of that? Well, it just seems like another Droideka situation happening all over again. Having said that, I want to make it clear I'm putting no blame on Ben for this. Like before, he's merely caught in the crossfire of this whole thing and is just doing his job. He's not the one making these kind of decisions and is only a messenger for DICE. If anyone here is to blame, then it's the higher-ups who are making these calls up at DICE trying to cut costs for development of new content. But still, I don't understand why go through the trouble of having this whole cover-up, because in the end, it just makes them look worse. Now, if it was the case of DICE wanting to get it done but couldn't due to reasons of maybe overestimating on what they could do with the time, resources, and small team size they have, then yeah, I get it and understand. What I just don't like here is the lack of transparency in treating the community like a bunch of children. Let us know that your original plans fell through and what next steps you're going to take forward to do about it, rather than pretend this never happened at all and even then erasing evidence on your website, giving the weak excuse it was all done because of a website makeover. Yeah, but no, sorry DICE, we can see right through you. Now moving on onto other news, but some people have started to speculate if the November update would contain content from either The Mandalorian or Jedi Fallen Order, and that maybe potentially being the reason for its delay. Ben eventually squashed the speculation by telling everyone that DICE has no plans at the moment on adding content to the game from either IP. Maybe in the future, who knows, but certainly not now. Ben also confirmed that DICE will be supporting Battlefront 2's live service going into 2020 as well, where he said that plans for January content will be revealed in December. Now, we already had strong suspicions that this would be the case, as DICE still need to release Ahsoka and Ventress. And considering how long they've worked on them, then I just can't see DICE throwing all of that work out the window by not releasing them next year. With Clone Wars content coming back as well from its short break in 2020, as we did get confirmation from Dennis Brandville before that DICE do very much intend on returning back to it, I can also definitely see DICE look into creating a new Clone Wars map for the game too. Now, could it be Coruscant, Mandalore, Utapau, Megiddo? Who knows? But certainly anything is possible with Clone Wars making a comeback. Lastly, if you ever missed out on one of the previous exclusive events like the Princess Leia or the Farm Boy Luke appearance events, then fortunately for you, Ben has confirmed that players will get an opportunity to earn these if they didn't before. Whether this be by putting them in the shop or repeating the events all over again, then that part still remains to be seen. Either way, this is very good news for everyone who did miss out on those events and now wants to get a chance to either claim or buy them. Personally, I'd say just put them in the shop to be bought with credits, as I'd rather not have old events take precedence over new ones. That, in my mind, would be a win-win for everyone, as we'd still get new content from new events and at the same time still be able to buy old event items without disruption. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.